Welcome back to another episode of The Art of Volunteering. I'm excited today. I have a new friend. Her name is Emily Rice. I just know when we get into our conversation, you're thoroughly going to enjoy it. Emily, welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
That's awesome. Emily is the Associate Director of Yellow Horse, which is Yellow Horse Equine Therapeutic Riding Programs. She oversees the program at all levels, working closely with their volunteer coordinator to assist in training, scheduling, recruitment, and outreach. Emily, let's start with you sharing about the history of Yellow Horse, like who you are, what you do. Just share that with our listeners.
Okay. So actually Yellow Horse, we first became a nonprofit 10 years ago. So it began with my mom. And my mom and I actually run the program together. So she's the executive director, Joy Dolan, sorry. And we both had an interest she's always been interested in writing. She's always taught. She had one student that just touched her. She realized how therapeutic they could be. And from there, I was going to school for social work and it kind of just grew. So we started it mainly her. I was in school. I switched majors, went into occupational therapy, and together we brought our expertise together. And now we host over 60 participants right now. We're the largest we've ever been. It's fantastic. It's a lot. We never could have dreamed that it would take off like it did. But we started in her backyard with a horse and a mini horse, 2 volunteers, and ourselves. And now we have just grown to, over 60 participants. I think our volunteers are up to 30 right now. We have 11 horses in the program. And what we do, I kind of got away from that, but what we do is we teach children and adults of all abilities how to ride. So what that means is that in order to participate in our program, they do have a doctor referral. They have to have a diagnosis. All of our students would not be able to just go to any riding facility and learn how to ride a horse. I have trained certified instructors that are qualified in this. They have gone through training. They know how to handle a diagnosis of any type. So mental health, physical, emotional, and we provide an opportunity that would not otherwise be available to these riders. So some are in wheelchairs, some have seizure disorders, some are just have trauma, some have emotional, and a lot of times if you're part of the riding world, it's very, very difficult sometimes to find that perfect instructor and have somebody understand if you are going through something like that. So we take all aspects. We have adaptive equipment. We have a indoor arena with a ramp. We Trying to think what else. We have sensory trails. So a lot of things that go into it. But we absolutely love what we do. We love our participants, the families that come to us, and we just keep doing it because that's where we are.
Awesome. Now I have 2 questions. I'm going to say them both because sometimes things slip away. So,
Okay.
What is a sensory trail?
Okay.
And how does this work? Like horses and people, all of it, like what makes it work?
So our volunteers and our instructors are what make it work.
Okay.
I'll start with that one first. Our volunteers, so these aren't people that can just get on a horse and go. Our horses are bomb-proof horses. They are used to an entire team around them. So what it means for someone to come ride with us is they have a leader who is a volunteer, and depending on their abilities, they have 2 sidewalkers. So what it entails is physically holding on to a rider, not holding, but supporting a rider should they need to. Um, and I think that answered your question, correct?
Well, yeah, it does, but, like, what's the magic? Like, why do horses I don't know how to describe it.
How are they
Yeah,
therapeutic?
what does that look like?
We like to say horses wear their heart on their sleeve. So a horse is going to be completely transparent with you. They are going to tell you, "Hey, I'm threatened by you," or "Hey, I trust you." And horses will it's amazing. They will absorb a lot of your energy. Um so if you come at them and you're kind of aggressive and they're going to be like, "Hey, you're excited." They're going to take a step back and say, "Hey, you're in my personal bubble." So it kind of teaches people, "Hey, this is a boundary." As well as physically, their gait is very similar to a human. So if you take us and we're walking and you take us and you turn us side on our all fours, a horse's body and how their hips move are very similar to ours. So when you have somebody that has physical ailments, like they can't hold their trunk up and they have hip or they have high muscle tone where they're really rigid or low muscle tone where they're, flimsy, everything like that, it it improves and help well not improves but it helps to engage those areas that otherwise don't get utilized. Say somebody's in a wheelchair or we have so many modalities these days that we can use when going to PT, OT, speech, things like that. But on a horse it takes away that pressure and you almost don't even realize that you're in a therapeutic atmosphere because
Wow.
they're just having fun. And so through the horse, we use their nonverbal body language. We use their body as a whole. And so there's different aspects to it. It just depends on what they're there for and how we can utilize that horse. There's a lot of aspects to it.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. So, and then when I mentioned sensory trail,
Mhm.
so we have one of our highest diagnoses that are in the program are autism. And so if you know anybody that's autistic or the diagnosis, you know that they need certain sensory input. Um so on the trail we'll have little objects that are very colorful. We have a mailbox where they can pull something out of, they can pull a note out of. It's a very interactive type trail. In the past, we've had pool noodles hanging down and they walk through it like a car wash.
That's cool.
We had a tire that they could throw stuff through. So we try and incorporate if their goals for riding with us are more gross motor, we do a lot. We try and we do ring toss. We've done bowling with the horses or soccer with the horses. We have a big soccer ball and the horse kicks it and they have to steer them and different things like that.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Was this unique to you and your mom, or is this a type of therapy that's done in other places?
It is a type. So there's two different types of therapy with horses, and we're not therapy. We're not allowed to call it therapy because while my instructors are certified, they are not physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech, anything like that. So what we do is equine assisted therapeutic
Okay.
riding, adaptive riding. But there is also hippotherapy, which is speech, PT, and OT. That they focus more so on the body. We focus on the whole.
Gotcha.
And me being my background of occupational therapy, that's kind of where I fell right into it because occupational therapy is the whole person and you focus on the all aspects of somebody's life and not just their physical. So we and then my mom was very loves riding, has been around horses her entire life and included me in that as well. So we both had a love for horses that just she wanted, like I said, she had one rider that really showed her what a horse could do for somebody when she didn't realize what it was doing. And then through research of my own, we both kind of came together and we were like, wow, we really love what this is doing. Um, so we are not, the only one around. There are a lot of therapy programs around. In Rhode Island, we are the largest, and I believe the only center that is certified through the 2 programs that certify. I'm not sure. There was another program, but I do believe they closed down. So, right now you have to go to Massachusetts or Connecticut, if we can't accommodate you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You've covered so many of my questions.
It's really easy to just kind of go off on a tangent because I'm
That
so
is
used to.
so okay. I just have to think, where do we want to take it from here? All right. Can you share a story of impact? An individual or a group of people or a family, and the magic that happened and how it impacted that goes beyond that my listeners might be aware of.
I guess I'll tell you about the one that I mentioned that first brought joy into this. Was she was just a normal riding instructor, wanted to teach kids how to ride horses. And she had a woman come to her that said, "Hey, my husband passed away. I have a 3-year-old daughter. She's heartbroken. I need to get her out of the house. I'm just interested." So week after week, my mom had her coming to ride, and she just felt like she wasn't getting through. She'd try and talk to her, she'd try and get her to interact with the horse, things like that. And at this point, she had absolutely no training whatsoever in what we do now. And so eventually she went to the mom and she said, "Listen, I'd love to keep you guys on, but I just don't think I'm doing anything for her. I don't think that she likes this." And the mom started crying. And she said, "My daughter has not looked forward to anything since her father has passed away except for this. This has
Oh,
been the biggest thing that has." So she really, that kind of brought it in for her. And
mhm.
then we have just had so many other stories that have been like that. Whether it's emotional, physical, it doesn't matter. We have veterans that come in that have literally touched us, and we've only done a demonstration with them. So, but that one is the kind of the heart story of how we started. And as you can tell, I got a little choked up because we always get emotional telling that one.
So that is really your why. That's why you do
Yeah.
it.
Yep. Yep. So, and the yellow horse comes from my mom's horse that she lost. He was a Palomino, which is a yellow horse. And they always used to say, "Here comes joy in that yellow horse," because she would barrel race. So she always said when she started a farm that she wanted it to be yellow horse. So we decided to name the program after that because he was her therapy.
Love it.
Yep.
Let's switch gears just a little bit and talk about you. Do you have a volunteer journey?
I do. I do. When I first started going for social work, I had to do an internship. And since I loved horses, I kind of started to realize that this was a type of field. So I had reached out to a program in Connecticut and I went to volunteer myself. And I went way over my hours of what I needed to intern because I absolutely loved it. Specifically, working with veterans. I come from a military family. My husband's active duty military, and it always seems to touch me when you can get through to somebody. And that specific program had one that was directly for women that were veterans, which I feel like is a very tight knit community. And so I every week I went back to help out and it was great. And my mom ended up actually coming with me and starting as well.
I love that. Now it's coming to a full career, and you're
Yeah.
giving back to
Yeah.
beyond what you originally thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Yep. It is. It is. It's amazing how far we have full circle come, and we're fortunate every single day that it has turned out to be what it's turned out to be. And we would not be able to do it without our volunteers, without our horses. Our horses are our biggest, partner in this. We can't do what we do without them. And we've proven time and time again we need our volunteers. We need more than, two hands for everything.
So how do volunteers find you? Or is it because of the nature of what you're doing, they're drawn to it? Or is it word of mouth? Like, what does that look like?
So it's not easy. That is where our program is always suffering is volunteers. So some will find us because they have an interest in horses, which is great. We love them. They're interested in coming. They know what the work is going to be. Other times they reach out because, hey, I saw you in a local program. We don't advertise. I shouldn't say we don't. We never used to. People would just kind of find us. Um, a lot of it is word of mouth, friend of a friend. Rhode Island is very small. But we do post I'm on volunteer websites. We have a local reminder that we have a running ad that's in there. We post a lot on social media, and we go to any event that we are available for that we can try and get, because we are desperately in need of volunteers. And it's not an easy job. It's not, somebody can come volunteer, for an hour and just sit at a table or something like that. I need you to pick poop. I need you to walk a trail, or, walk 30 times around in a circle in a ring. Or help, support a rider that might not have the trunk support. So we're a very specific field. My husband will ask me all the time, why can't you guys keep volunteers? And my number one answer to him or to anybody is that a lot of times people don't understand the physical aspect of what we do. So it's a very physical job. I have one lady, I think she was in her 80s, and she's like, "Hey, I want to come volunteer." And I'm like, "We would love that. What can you do?" And I think she was like, "I will do what I can." Um, but another part of the community that we actually have tapped into is the local transition schools for high school students. They come with their support workers, and they'll come pick a paddock, or they come fill water buckets. So we've really tried to reach out to the local schools too. We've got kids that are seniors that will come to do hours, do a senior project. Uh, Johnson and Wales has a equine program. So for a
Didn't
few
realize
years
that.
we've
I just
had
know them for their cooking programs.
Yeah, I didn't know that they had horses. Unfortunately, I believe their equines they might keep equine sciences, but the specific one that they've been coming to us for, I believe that they are closing it down. But yeah, they have a whole riding team, everything. So we've been able to utilize them at times too. And then on our property is another barn behind us. It's called Hunter Ridge, and they actually host the URI equestrian team. So if they need to do hours, some of the girls will come over and help us out too. So we kind of have our feet in a little bit of everything when it comes to trying to reach out to find a volunteer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is blooper, told you it was coming. So can you tell me a blooper, something that didn't necessarily go wrong, but didn't go as planned? And what did you learn from it?
Trying to think about this one, a blooper.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we have bloopers all of the time.
Okay, pick your favorite.
So I'm trying to think. I'm really racking my brain over here.
Okay, then let's make it a favorite story. Something that just happened one day at work. You came home and told your husband about XYZ story because it was so cute or so interesting or just made your day.
We had a gentleman that came to ride with us, and it just made my day. He'd never ridden before. He was just starting to learn how to ride. He must have been 15, 16 years old. And it always amazes me when the boys are interested in riding, just because, it's usually primarily a woman's sport half the time when it comes to men. So well, in my world, I guess you could say, because a lot of times, you know, I didn't see it growing up. It was all girls. And so we had this gentleman come to learn to ride, and I was helping out that day. We needed someone to lead him around. And he's on our big horse, Meg. And she's a big draft Percheron, gorgeous, all white. And it's cold. It's the middle of January. We're trying to make it fun for him because it's cold. And we're like, he might not last very long. He hasn't ridden before. He gets on the horse and his dad's standing on the sidelines and he's trying to encourage him. And, he's kind of getting into it. And all of a sudden he starts singing Old Town Road. And we just lost it. I was like, I cannot believe, I never thought of the song before when I rode. And that's one of our jokes. If you're feeling nervous, sing a song. So we had told him to sing a song and he starts to sing Old Town Road. And that's always, I came home and I was like, you'll never guess what happens tonight. And this is also, he would tell his father would say something to him like, oh, you need to pay attention. He'd go, stay in your own lane. So we have a lot of stories. But that one, I don't know why I haven't thought of that one in a while. He no longer rides with us, but it was just one of those fun stories that he, the last thing you would expect to come out of his mouth.
For a 16-year-old, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Just, and we have those all the time where we have people that come in and we've got one gentleman who is in his 60s and he's fully dressed, his breeches, his shirt, he's got his crop, his riding helmet, everything. And every week absolutely loves it. I think from what I remember, he's been riding for 30 years. So, we do. We've got some interesting stories and volunteers that have been with us since the very beginning, continue to be with us since we're 10 years in at this point. So they're with us they're diehards and we love that. And we even love just the people that come for a little while and stay with us and we get to meet them and share what we do with everyone.
That's awesome. All right, Emily, we are at the end of our conversation and I'm going to give you the mic. I want you to love on Yellow Horse. Something that we didn't cover, something that's just come to mind, maybe a program coming up, something special. Just go ahead and love on Yellow Horse.
I can't not talk about because it is our 10-year, we are having our huge 10-year anniversary fundraiser, which every year we've tried to do something that's big and fancy and something that's going to be a great night out for our participants and our volunteers and supporters. And last time we tried to do this, COVID hit. So we are doing it again with the great honor that it is our 10-year anniversary on October 20th in Rhode Island at the Haversham. It's on a Sunday, I think at 4:00. And, we're encouraging everyone that if they want to buy tickets to please go to our website and purchase them or reach out. And then we also have a new community program that we recently just started within the last year where sometimes we have riders that can't physically ride. They're not physically able to. Their doctor won't clear them, something like that. And so we started what we call the walk-on program. And they are able to come. We have up to 5 people come at a time. It's hosted on Mondays at 11 and 12 o'clock. And they get to groom the horses. They get to walk the horses. They get to interact with the horses. They take them for a walk down the driveway. Someone that's in a wheelchair that is unable to get on a horse, they're down there, they're walking, they're rolling that horse down the road. So that is one of our newer programs that we are really, really excited about. And it seems to be a big hit for a lot of people. So
Well, that's awesome.
yeah.
Very cool. We'll put your in the show notes. We'll put about your website and how people can contact you, so they'll be able to learn more
Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
we talked about today.
Yeah.
All right, Emily. Thank you for being my guest. I have so
No
enjoyed
problem.
this. And welcome, little one. Glad you could join us.
Thank you for letting him crash.
No worries. So, to my listeners, I want to thank you for tuning in today. I hope you found value in our conversation. I know that I have. I ask that if you can, wherever you're listening, if you can rate and review, it helps other people learn about the art of volunteering and how together we're restoring the fabric of our society. So, thank you. Have a great day and see you next time on the art of volunteering. Bye bye.